Chester and Gus by Cammie McGovern. Fright Fest. On Saturday, Sarah gets Gus up early. When he's sitting at the table for breakfast, she says, "Today's the day, Gussie. We're going back to Fright Fest." This surprises me. Fright Fest, I think. Obviously, Gus understands what she's saying, and he's excited. He rocks back and forth in his chair so much he almost falls over. He doesn't notice when I say, "Fright Fest? What's that?" Sarah doesn't help. She keeps smiling and saying, "Remember last year when you walked right up to that zombie holding an axe?" More rocking and a squeal from Gus. "A zombie holding an axe?" I say. I want someone to explain this to me. "Remember the lady who got her head chopped off?" Sarah laughs, as if this is all very funny. Gus laughs too. "I was thinking we should bring Chester with us this time. That way we don't have to worry about you getting lost in the crowd, right, Gus?" Me, I think, walking around with zombies and headless women? Even Mark isn't sure. You want to bring Chester to Fright Fest? Why not? If Gus loves it, why shouldn't Chester? Plus, Chester's been trained for this. If Gus holds his leash, he can't wander too far without Chester sitting down and waiting for us to catch up. I look over at Gus. I can tell he's excited. If his chair was a rocket, he'd push the blast-off button right now. Sarah leans closer and whispers to Mark, "He loves it so much, Mark, remember?" In the car, I can't help myself. I keep asking Gus questions. What's a zombie? What happens to the woman without her head? He doesn't answer, but he laughs and imitates the sound zombies must make. I don't know if it's the right sound, because I've never met a zombie. I've only heard people talk about them on TV. Just hearing people talk about them, though, was scary enough for me. Mark is driving, so Sarah turns around and explains it all to me the way she does sometimes. I think it's her way of reminding Gus what to expect. "It's a regular amusement park, Chess, with roller coasters and bad food, but for the month of October, every Saturday, they have people dress up like ghosts and ghouls and walk around scaring people." Did she say food? I ask Gus. "Halo," Gus says, but not out loud. I don't understand. He laughs and rocks, more excited than I've ever seen him. Sarah says, "They also have this thing where you can ask at guest services for a light stick halo if you don't want the people to scare you. Do you remember that, Gus? We got one for you, and then you kept taking it off because you wanted those people to get closer to you." He remembers. He's giggling, but I can hear him. I remember. "They must be funny," I say to Gus. "It must be okay." "Yes, they're so funny," Gus says. "You'll laugh, Chester. I know you will." He's forgotten. Dogs don't laugh. We do other things, like jump around and lick hands, which is what I do now because it's the first time he's ever used my name. "It's so great," he says. So great. How to say yes. Turns out the zombies are people who look like they're bleeding but don't smell that way. They also look very dirty without smelling nice the way a dirt-covered person should, and they growl a lot. At first, I don't even realize these are the zombies because they seem like a bunch of people acting like mean dogs. Thank goodness I remember my training well enough not to growl back. Then I watch Gus do something funny every time he sees one of them. He crosses his arms and karate chops air in front of him. It makes him laugh, so instead of feeling nervous, he feels powerful, I think. It also means more of the zombies come too close to us, so even if he's not fighting anyone, he is keeping them away. After we get past through them, I feel a lot braver, and I can tell Gus does too. It's kind of fun watching him make karate chop X's, and we spend most of the morning looking for zombies for him to have imaginary fights with. If Gus wants to go on a ride, Mark rides with him, and I sit with Sarah, who scratches my neck and tells me what a good job I'm doing. Those are the only times I can eat food off the ground. Otherwise, I ignore the food, and believe me, there's a lot of food I have to ignore. For lunch, I lie down under Gus's feet and watch two pigeons fight over a pizza crust. I try telling them they should share, but they either don't understand me or else they aren't listening. After lunch, we wait for a long time for Gus to go on a ride with cars that kids can drive around the track. It seems like it's mostly fun for little kids. Still, when it's finally Gus's turn, he can't figure out how to make the car go. He starts to cry. So Mark gets into the car and drives for him so other kids won't have to watch a bigger boy cry. I was pretty sure we'd go home after that, but instead of leaving, Sarah says, "Look, you guys, the spooky walk starts at 5. Do you want to go for a walk through the woods and see some spooky people, Gus?" "No, thank you," I say. "Do you remember when you were too scared to do it last year, but maybe this year you're big enough to try? Supposedly it has a fog machine and witches along the way." Really, that doesn't sound good to me, I say. Unfortunately, no one is listening to me, including Gus. He stops walking. He looks at his mom. Fog machine? He says, but not out loud. Sarah smiles like it's great that he's thinking about this. I don't think it'll be super scary. I think it's more like a walk through the woods where spirits and fairies come out from behind the trees. It's more magical scary than scary. I don't think Gus is thinking about that. He's thinking about the fog machine. Mama once called her dishwasher at school a fog machine when she opened it up and a big cloud came out. Gus thinks there's going to be a dishwasher in the woods. Even I know there won't be. Woods don't have dishwashers. No fog machine, I say. He doesn't hear me, or if he hears, he's not listening. Instead, he's rocking and smiling and clicking his tongue. You want to go? Sarah says, smiling even more. I think he wants to go, Mark. Gus bounces a little and squeaks at the boy, walking by with a lot of glow sticks around his neck. It's starting to get dark, which means his head looks like an egg in a glowing nest. Let's do it, Mark. I think we should do it. I don't know, Sarah. I feel like we've had a great day. Maybe we shouldn't push it. He's thinking about Gus crying on the cars a few minutes ago. Sarah doesn't like it when Mark things like, let's be careful, or no. Or maybe we build on a great day and do something bold because we shouldn't be afraid all the time. Gus covers one ear with his hand, like he's not sure if he wants to hear this conversation or not. He rocks back and forth, which is what he usually does when he listens. Even to other people, it doesn't look like he's listening. Okay, Mark says, let's give it a try. Gus squeaks and turns in the direction of the spooky walk like he's not only been listening the whole time, he's memorized this whole park and remembers where it is. Unfortunately, the spooky walk has the longest line in the park. For most of the day, Gus has had a special card that the person at the front line stamps with the time, which means Gus has to wait the same amount of time as everyone else, but he doesn't have to stand in line while he's waiting. I don't think Gus can stand in lines. He needs to walk back and forth and bounce up and down. If he had to stand in line, he would crash into people and make them mad. Uh-oh, Mark says after he asks the man up front to stamp our card. He says that because this is a special event for Frat Fest, they can't give us a time to come back for this one, Gussie. We'd have to wait in line, which is about an hour right now. Looks like we can't do it. The problem is Gus can see the first part. There's a forest and they've hung a curtain between two trees that you have to walk through. Every time the curtain moves, we can see a flash of green light. Gus wants to see what that green light is. I want to see what that green light is too. It winks on and off when the curtain moves. I'm sorry about the spooky walk, Gus, but we should get going anyways, Mark says. It'll be dark soon. Gus doesn't want to leave. I can tell by the way his body has stopped moving. Dad's probably right, sweetheart, Sarah says. We don't want to be here in the dark when it gets even scarier. They start to walk away, but Gus doesn't move. Come on, Gus, Mark calls. It's time to go. I want to help him. Can you say Nis, Gus? If you say Nis, they'll know you don't want to leave yet. He turns away from me like he can hear me, but I'm confusing him. He already has too many voices talking to him. Sarah bends down to look in his eyes. What is it, babe? Do you want to stay and go on the spooky walk, even if it means waiting in line? I think he wants to stay, Mark. Do you want to stay, Gus? Gus doesn't have a word for yes exactly. Usually his body says yes by squeaking and rocking. Sometimes his hands say it by flapping. He doesn't do any of that now. He's scared that if he moves, they'll take him back to the car. Say yes, I tell him with my mind. My eyes have an easier time finding his because he's always looking down. Say yes and they'll stop. They'd let you see what the green light behind the curtain is. We all wait. That's one important thing about Gus. You have to be patient and wait for him to click through everything his brain is thinking. I don't know what his brain is thinking right now. I can't hear him think. Then I'm surprised. Yeah, he starts to say. This is different from anything I've heard from Gus. He wants this enough to force his mouth to say it. Yes, he says and hiccups. Sarah puts her hand over her mouth. Mark hugs her from the side. They want to hug Gus, I can tell, but they can't. Okay, buddy, Mark says. Okay, you said yes. You want to stay. That means we're going to stay. We're definitely going to stay. Spooky walk. It's not easy. They take turns waiting in line while the other one waits with Gus and me on a bench beside a line. When it's finally our turn, Sarah says she wants us all to go in together. Mark looks at her funny and she says, Of course it's okay to bring Chester. It's the woods. She's already asked the guy up front who looked at my vest and shrugged okay. When we walk past the curtains, we hear an eerie howl that hurts my ears. I wish I could have said this to this idea. The green flashing light is bright and coming from inside a pot that a witch is stirring.
Are you sure you want to come in here? She cackles. The last people just disappeared. I think they've gotten lost in the woods.
Sarah laughs and whispers to Gus. She probably says that to everyone. Say Nis, I tell him. Say you've changed your mind and you've decided Nis is what you walk. The witch has on a long black dress and running shoes underneath. I don't think the others can see her shoes, but I can. It worries me that maybe she's planning to run after us.
If you don't see them, you might try looking for my cat, Brunilda, or my flying monkeys. They escaped a while ago, and they're getting pretty hungry by now.
Flying monkeys? She's kidding, Sarah says and moves us along. She and Mark are holding Gus's hand, which surprises me. I've never seen him hold their hands before. It's nice to see, but then I wonder, wait, who's holding my leash? We leave the witch and walk up the path towards another light, this one white. We can hear noises in the woods around us, but we can't see anything. Remember, these are all actors, so we don't have to be scared, Sarah says, sounding scared. They can say whatever they like, but no one's allowed to touch us. Mark laughs a little. Is that in a rule book somewhere? Just then, a man wrapped in bandages jumps out from behind a tree in front of us. Whoa, he says, and then behind him there's another voice. Not them. The bandaged man steps back and disappears. Sarah whispers to Mark, I think they see Chester and they know they shouldn't scare us too much. Isn't that nice of them? Yes, I think. Very nice. Then a second later, a tree in the path ahead of us moves. It starts walking towards us, which makes me think maybe it's not a real tree at all. As soon as it gets closer, I know it's not a real tree because it smells like cigarettes. Watch out for the tree, Mark says, pulling us to one side. The tree runs by after we get out of its way. I don't know if Gus is as scared as I am. He's not making any noises, so it's hard to tell. Look, we're okay. Sarah is still trying to laugh like this is all fun. This isn't fun. This stopped being fun when the tree started running. There's a tunnel up ahead. The tunnel is made out of sheets and has lights on the inside, which seems fine until we walk in, and there's so much fog that I start sneezing. I sneeze and sneeze and sneeze. When I finally stop, I can't see Gus or Sarah or Mark. I walk ahead where they must have gone, but they aren't there. That's when I remember that no one is holding my leash. I'm all alone. I can't see anyone from my family. Even worse, I can't smell them. All I can smell is smoking chemicals that hurt my nose. I turn around to walk out the way we came in. If Gus isn't holding my leash, I'm scared he's lost. I need to find him. My heart starts racing faster. Outside in the fresh air, I can breathe again. But my nose realizes right away they're not here. They haven't come this way. My people are in the fog where my nose can't find them. I go back in. I bump into someone who screams and says, "Something touched me." I don't want to scare other people. I just want to find my family. I keep my nose close to the ground, but I still can't smell them. I listen carefully. I don't hear them either. I don't know why they aren't calling my name or looking for me. I keep going through the tunnel, following a pair of men's shoes, even though they don't belong to Mark. I need to get to the other end of this fog tunnel. If I get there, I think, I will find them waiting for me. I pass another witch talking to a skeleton with red lights where his eyes should be. I'm not going to look up again until I'm out of this tunnel. I can smell fresh air. I'm getting closer. I'm almost there. I listen for my name. They'll be there, and they'll be so happy to see me. They'll say, "Chester, what happened? Are you okay?" I keep walking. Gus is okay, I think. Gus is with his parents, and he is fine. I can smell the air now. I follow the shoes out of the tunnel, and that's when I realize my terrible mistake. The shoes belong to a teenager, and the spooky people in the forest don't mind scaring teenagers. Someone jumps in front of us. Gah! A machine in his hand roars to life. I know it's a chainsaw because I got scared of one cutting down a tree in Penny's neighbor's yard. But this person isn't cutting down trees. This person is cutting down people. I run away as fast as I can. I don't stop running because the chainsaw guy is running too. Lots of people are running and laughing like this is funny, but it's not funny. I run farther than anyone until my leash gets caught on something and I lurch back. I'm stuck. I have no choice. I have to scramble under the nearest bush I can find. Behind me, someone is yelling, "There's no chain in his chainsaw." A woman is laughing. "Don't be stupid, you guys. Come back." I don't know who she's calling stupid, but I'm never going back. Never. I can't. My legs won't move now. I'm safe and hidden here. I wait for a while and then I remember Gus. What if he's alone somewhere in these woods with these crazy chainsaws running around? I hear Penny's voice in my head. "When loud noises happen, your person will need you. They have to be able to find you afterward." Now my heart is really beating. Gus is somewhere. Gus needs me. It's dark out now, very dark. He might have dropped my leash, but I'm the one who lost him. I have to leave my safe spot. I have to go back out there and find him. I'm hiding so well, so deep in the bushes that it's hard to get out. When I finally do, I realize something terrible. My leash is tangled in the bushes. I try walking one way and then another. The bush won't let me go. I pull hard until my neck hurts. I look back and see the white tunnel of fog is far away. The chainsaw starts up and it doesn't scare me because I have something to be more scared of now. I'm stuck in some bushes far away in the woods where no one can find me. Gus might be lost, but I'm even more lost. The chainsaw man waiting outside the fog tunnel has chased at least 4 different groups coming out, maybe more. From here, he doesn't look that scary because I'm so far away. From here, the people look silly to be so surprised and scream so loud. I start to understand why Gus likes coming here. Feeling scared is fun if you know you're going to be all right afterward. Except it's different out here where no one can see me or hear me barking. I don't know if anyone will ever find me. This is scary in a whole different way. They might look for me for a while and then give up. They might think I ran away for good, which happened in a movie I watched once with Penny. A dog and a cat ran away together and survived for a whole winter, catching their food and curling up together at night for warmth. If no one finds me, I'll be stuck here all winter long, with no cat friend to sleep with and no way to eat unless something dies in front of me. I'm really crying now, barking and crying. More people come out of the tunnel, more screams, more fog, more buzzing chainsaws, so loud that no one could possibly hear me. I hear only myself, and then out of nowhere, I can't believe it, there's a hand on my back. There's a smell I love all around me. There's a crazy word I've heard him use once before when he was looking out his window. Get! It's Gus, and he's touching me with both of his hands like he was just as scared as I was. And now leashes aren't good enough. He wants to hold my fur. In the distance, I hear Mark say, "Sarah, over here. I think Gus found him." I hear their steps. They're both far away. They've been out here looking for me, combing through the woods. My family, my people. Sarah's voice gets closer. "Gus found him?" She's breathless from racing around in the dark. She can hardly believe it. None of us can. "Yes," Mark says, next to us now, petting me too. "Yes." Sarah forgets the rule and hugs Gus hard. "Oh, baby, you found him. How did you do it?"